Welcome back. Right, before I start this ramble and my vinyl first play, there was a terrible shooting in Las Vegas the other day, and well, that's bloody terrible, isn't it, let's be honest. Why? I suppose we will find out, I guess, through some sort of media. I could never get my head around it. So many people, so many families shocked and ruined by it. I can never understand this. So anyway, my thoughts are with all the families affected by this, and obviously the victims. Terrible. Anyway, today I'm going to do a vinyl first play of one of the albums that I got off eBay last week, Rain Dogs. Now, I absolutely love this album, but I thought I'd had a right result, didn't I? I mean, this is going for like 70, just under 70 quid on Amazon, and I paid £13.50 for it on eBay. And you know why? Probably a bootleg. I haven't played it yet, but at best it's going to be CD quality, isn't it? I mean, I don't know. One of the people that watched my video mentioned it, and then I thought, of course. Because there's no way I would have got that, and certainly not Bone Machine for that sort of money. And also, after I'd purchased this, it reappeared on eBay from the same seller. I'm not going to mention their names, because at the end of the day, it is what it is. Famous saying from me mate Scott, that is. It is what it is. So, I did get a little bit excited though, I won't lie. So, but I thought to myself, I mean, really? Stripey? I mean, it hasn't got a barcode on it, so obviously it was a scam from the original album. And it's mint. Yeah, wishful thinking, I guess. But anyway, so I'm still going to give it a vinyl first play, see what it sounds like on vinyl, and to have the experience. It's not going to be the full experience, unfortunately. It does seem like Tom Waits on vinyl is going to be a really expensive and hard mission to do. You might get the occasional little gem here and there, but we'll see. I do intend on buying Swordfishtrombone next out of the collection, and I do believe you can buy that from Amazon for around about 20-25 quid, so it isn't too bad, so I should whip that one up. But then obviously I've got to try and find Frank's Wild Years, and I'm not going to be too impulsive. Next time I'm going to try and get the genuine article, because obviously you don't get no inner lyrics, you don't get nothing, you just get, which is fine. But when I looked on Discogs, the original Bone Machine certainly had artwork on the inside as well, so that kind of makes me think. But in the famous word of Scott, it is what it is. So this is the follow-up album to Swordfishtrombone, and it's the pre-Frank's Wild Years. Probably my favourite Tom Waits album, Frank's Wild Years. It was the one that just completely flipped me out, and I thought, what is this? After I've done the vinyl first play, I'm going to pick a couple of songs and I'm going to put them in the description downstairs. So if you're a little bit interested in listening to something a little bit different, it really is something else. So yeah, I mean, it was released in 1985, and when I think back to what I was listening to, charty stuff and etc, I'd not even really discovered the Beatles then, or Pink Floyd. It was pop music, really, you know, that mid-80s. Blah. Yeah, there was a couple of good albums by Tears for Fears. I think they released songs from the Big Chair. That was good. And The Cure, I think Talking Heads was doing good, but generally it was poppy, woppy music. And then when you listen to Rain Dogs, you think, where was I? How would I have received this back in 1985? I don't know. I think I discovered Brain Dogs, early 90s really. Yeah, probably late 80s, early 90s, because obviously my mate Clive got me into Tom Waits. He's been listening to Tom Waits since forever. Like I said, it's a bit of a shame it's a bootleg, but I'm still going to give it a first play anyway. So, let's do this. Right, so, here we go. Like I said, shame it ain't the real deal. Here. Pucker cover that. Really like that one. It's got 19 tracks on it. And it starts off with Singapore. Awesome. Pretty solid. Right. Rain Dogs, Tom Waits. I'll be back in a little while. Okay. Well, I've got mixed feelings. I adore this album. I really, really do. And I'm going to talk about a few tracks in a minute. But it was a copy from another vinyl. It wasn't a copy from a CD. It was a copy from another vinyl. So I had to turn it up quite loud. And it was pretty crackly. I mean, just before the last song, Anywhere I Lay My Head, well, listen. So, Rain Dogs, where do you start? Well, this is the 8th studio album by Tom, right? And this is the follow-up, like I said, to Swordfishtrombones. And he kind of makes characters, and they're all telling their own little stories. And, I mean, it kicks off with Singapore. And it's like a load of guys coming off a ship for the night, and it's someone giving them advice, and it creates such wonderful imagery in your mind. And the music is very organic, you know, the original sounds. When you think back to 85, everything was synths and all that. And this is really original sounds. Apparently, Tom moved to a place in Lower Manhattan, quite a rough neighbourhood, and he rented a motel or whatever. Right on the corner, and lived the experience while I was putting this album together. And I do think the flavours really, really come through on quite a lot of the tracks. Not all of them are the avant-garde stuff that obviously he went further with in Frank's Wild Years, but there's a real nice mix. You know, that's what I think anyway. Right, and then the second song is Clap Hands. Right, and I'm definitely going to put a link to that downstairs. Have a listen. That growling, whispery, creepy voice, and the music is all over the place. And this is the Tom Waits I absolutely love. It's different level, you know, absolutely different level. And then next comes up is a Cemetery Polka, right? And really, it's just someone having a little bit of a rant about all of his family members and people that he knows. I like it. I know a lot of people ain't too keen, you know, with that Uncle Vernon, and he's off. But I quite like it. A little bit surreal. Very, very Waits. Then one of my favourites on the album, and I'm going to put a link to that downstairs, and this is Jockey Full of Bourbon. Now, I was lucky enough to see Tom do that live in London. Completely different song, the way he does it. When you go and see Tom live, you'll understand. He does a different version of that song pretty much every time. And it's amazing. But Jockey Full of Bourbon's a brilliant song. It's just got that nice marimba sound. It's like moves along really quickly. And it's actually the opening song to the Andy Garcia movie, Things to Do in Denver When You're Dead. It's quite an old film now, I guess. But it fits in perfect. So, Jockey Full of Bourbon. gets a thumbs up. Next up is Tango Till They're Sore. But it's not a tango song. This is like really wonky piano and off keys, and with this great wailing tom voice over the background. It's just brilliant. I absolutely love Tango Till They're Sore. And then next up is Big Black Mariah. Now this actually has Keith Richards playing some guitar on it. He was in on the recording of this album. Big sound. It almost sounds Black Tom Waits in this, you know. Whoa, I can't. Fuck me, I ain't got a chance, have I? But yeah, really like that one. Another nutty one. Ding, all sounds going off all over the place. Is Diamonds and Gold. I mean, this has got 19 tracks on it. So you do probably get your money's worth. But I'll get to whether I'll get me money's worth after. Then goes Hang Down Your Head. Now this is quite a mainstreamy, kind of reminiscent of old Tom. And it is lovely. I mean, Tom is a lyricist. There's no getting away with it. He's an amazing lyricist. And every one of his stories and little... Oh. And then finally, side one closed with Time. And this is quite lonely. I do think the whole concept of the whole album really is the isolation of people. It's got a lonely theme, which is something Tom taps on from time to time. But Time is a lovely song. Then flipping over, starts off with Rain Dogs, the album's title. I love this. What else? It's got harmonicas and accordions and very European sounding, but it's just great. Great for I am a rain dog too. Poor impression of Tom Waits, I know. I love this. I absolutely love this. Yeah. I'll get to how it sounded after. But yeah, love that song. The mid-sounds like an instrumental. And honestly, it's smashy. It's like, you can imagine being in the midst of New York and everything's going on all at once and you're right not in the mood and it all goes, it's brilliant. And all sounds going all around the room. And then it goes into Ninth and a Hennepin. Now, Tom does this from time to time. He'll have all these creepy, eerie sounds and he'll narrate a little story. And his voice is that good. He can talk it and you're still really interested. He does this a few times. I remember, and a lot of people know from a latter album, Mule Variation, what's he building in there? Marvellous. But anyway, Ninth and Hennepin, got some great words in it. And then after that is Gun Street Girl. Now, I really love this, with that flicking guitar and that John. It's brilliant. I love Gun Street Girl. It's a great song. And does it appear on Big Time? I'm not sure if it does, actually. Great, anyway. All right. Then comes Union Square. Now, this is a big, fat, and American song, and I'm amazed Tom Waits can sing after, or even talk after singing that. Wow. I don't know what he does to be able to do that and then go on a tour doing that every other day or whatever. That would tear your throat in half. I could probably muster one go at it. I wouldn't be able to do no more. It hurt too much. So kudos, Tom, but love that. Then comes the country sort of song. It's definitely country. Blind Love. Lovely words, but it's got a real lazy country feel about it, yeah. Then Walking Spanish. Walking Spanish down the hall. Brilliant. That's another great song. Then comes Downtown Train. Now, Downtown Train is very commercial for Tom Waits, really. Rod Stewart covered it. And it's actually got a really good music video where this bloke's going, he's howling on again all night, and then Tom does his But it's quite commercial for Tom Waits, but still a brilliant song. Lonely Theme, will I see you tonight on a downtown train? It is a lovely, lovely song. Then comes The Bride of Rain Dogs. This is going back to that European. It's another instrumental note, and it's just crazy little weird sounds, but it's brilliant. I actually really love this. I wonder if they get The Bride of Rain Dogs as sort of the Bride of Frankenstein. Don't know. And finally, Anywhere I Lay My Head. Wow. He goes over the top in this. My head is a split. Well, I couldn't do it ever. You know. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. The geezer's a legend. He's an absolute legend. So, I love Rain Dogs. So, but did I enjoy the experience? Yes. Because obviously I listened to Rain Dogs again, which I know I already love. But I learned a tough lesson, boys and girls, that bootlegs, unless you absolutely can't get it anywhere else, ain't the way forward. I had to turn it up way too loud, and there was crackles all over it. So I actually think in this case, CD wins over vinyl for once. And I think it's purely and simply because it's a bootleg copy. I think if I got my hands on an original, which I do want to do, I'd certainly want to own this Swordfishtrombones and Frank's Wild Years on vinyl. Well, there is quite a few others, but looking at the prices of them all, I'm just thinking to myself, you know, I'm spending enough on the Beatles collection and they're reasonably priced. But when you're looking at Bone Machine at just under 200 quid, nah, that's out of my league, unfortunately. But the quality doesn't really, it's not as good. Nowhere near as good. CD certainly sounds better on that version anyway. So, for those that you have actually got a copy of Rain Dogs, an original, I'm jealous. I got all excited as well. It's kind of took the excitement out of playing Bone Machine now, because I kind of think I'm going to get the same experience. And that's not what I got into vinyl for. I got into vinyl because I love the sound of records. I just do. But not copies of records. I mean, I've done it myself. I can't go on too much because I'd be a bit of an hypocrite, right? Because I've got a little story to tell you, right? Years ago, back in 2005, when I was Tom Waits nuts, right? I got my hands on, off eBay, a copy of Big Time by Tom Waits. And because I used to do Photoshop, I made a cover to it. And a label, right? And I thought, I'm going to put one on eBay. Made a copy of it, put it on eBay. Well, it started flying, didn't it? I'm not joking, because I made the cover and made it look like it could be. It's not even available, you know. It's only on VHS, which I nearly bought once. And Clive, I wish I bought it, mate. It was flying. Honestly, I mean, within an hour or 2 hours, it was up to like 17 quid. I'm thinking, what? I can't remember what I paid for it, a tenner? I can't remember. And then all of a sudden, the next day, it was gone. Weren't on there. And apparently, well, I had his email at one point, Tom Waits himself complained. And it got took down. So, I'd be a little bit of an hypocrite to say I haven't done it. I mean, I don't do that sort of thing, you know what I mean? I was just mad on Tom Waits. And this bootleg, although it's obviously taken off a VHS, and it's not a proper Dolby Digital, it had a 5.1 sound, so it was fairly clean for this. Big Time, by the way, is a concert movie which pretty much spans the 3 albums that I absolutely adore. Swordfishtrombones, Rain Dogs, and Frank's Wild Years. Yeah, so he's quite a clever man, is Tom Waits. He keeps quite a tight rein on his stuff, and I kind of understand why. I mean, let's be honest. His albums are so expensive of a company like the Agostini, or not them, please not them, right? But another company thought, we should do the complete back catalogue of Tom Waits. They would go mental. They absolutely would go mental. But he changed labels along the way. You know, it was he started off with Asylum, and then when he wrote Swordfishtrombones, they was going, no, we're not having that. You're going to lose all your old fans. Well, actually, when he done Swordfishtrombone, it was critically acclaimed. But by then he'd jumped ship and gone to Island Records, and when they was being bought up, I can't remember what album it was. Might have been Black Mariah, might have been Poe Machine. He jumped skip again and done Mule Variations with Anti, a small label, but quality. And he's got complete artistic freedom. But if a company decided to do Tom Waits' complete back catalogue in a box, monthly, I'd be in. Oh, well, would I? Definitely. So, a little bit disappointed, really, guys. But it's nothing to do with Rain Dogs. The album is genius. I just think I was a little bit disappointed with all the crackles and some of it sounded quite good, but I remember it sounding really good on CD. And the crackles, I just weren't expecting them ones. Some of it was ridiculous. Anyway, I've learned a lesson. Right, so you have yourselves a good week, people. I'll be back with another ramble real soon.